Okay, I'm setting up. I'm trying to get set up here. Stand by. Oh my gosh, I can't believe all the stupid problems. Let me see if the chat in this mode works. Let me see. Anyone out there? Question mark. Now, let's see if anybody can see the chat. I started this a few minutes ago using the new version, newer version of doing a live stream that YouTube has. I used it the last time I did a live stream, and the chat room or the chat window or whatever worked perfect. And I thought, okay, I'm going to use this from now on out. I just tried it and I couldn't figure out how to do a screen share. I've got my webcam working, and that's what showed on the other option for a live stream, but I couldn't figure out how to turn on chat. This is the old Hangout, which before had problems with the group chat. So I got 9 viewers, but I don't see anybody in the viewer chat in Hangout. Hoping somebody will type something besides myself. Otherwise, what I have to do and what I've done in the past is I have another computer running and watching the show just as you would be watching it. And I can watch the chat over there and see what's going on, but then I have to go back and forth, and that's a nuisance. So I don't know why. I'll have to go back to that old video I did using the newer video streaming option, which seemed to work much better. And the chat worked perfect. But I couldn't find any way to do a screen share, which most of this program or show is going to be related to screen sharing what's going on. So I guess chat doesn't work. So I'm going to go over to my other computer, which is clear across the room, and set it up so that I can look at the chat just like you would. Stand by. I'll play a little music for you, maybe. Let me see. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. Let me see if this is batteries are still good. Okay, there we go. Stand by. Okay, now I got another computer across the room that is viewing this stream just like you are, and so I can see the chat, but I have to go back and forth. So there will be a slight delay in me responding to anything you put in the chat. But it still appears that the Hangouts chat still doesn't work, which I wish it did. And the live stream option that they have, it's a newer option under YouTube. The chat works perfect, so I can see it on the same screen that I'm broadcasting, but I can't figure out how to share my desktop, which is what I want to do. Okay, that's where. Let me go over and check the chat and see if there's anything I need to respond to. All right, stand by. Okay. Okay, in response to Movie Man 4 about a Grundig 500 for parts, I can always use any radio in any condition, especially now, and I'll get into that, what I mean. So let's get started. What time is it? It's not quite 3 o'clock, which is when I said I was going to start this officially. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes so I can start on the official time, and maybe that'll help. And this particular show is kind of mainly about bringing you up to speed where I'm at. You know, what's been happening, why I've been gone for a week, whatever. So we're going to give it a few minutes. I'm going to go back over and check the chat, and then we'll get started. Okay? Okay, Grundig $500, Grundig 500 for $60. That is for parts, is not a good deal. I got my 500, which is in pristine condition. I think I got for $50. So, but I thank you for the offer. I thank you for letting me know about that. That's one of the things I want to talk about, and I really appreciate that. Thanks for doing that. Okay, let's get started. I've been, as many of you know, I've been absent for a week now, and I've really been struggling. And let's talk about some of the things I've been struggling. Let's start with the very basic thing I've been struggling with. Somehow, and you will see when I show you my screen, somehow the fonts in my Windows 10 machine, this particular Windows 10 machine, have totally gotten screwed up. And I've tried and I've tried for days to fix it, and I cannot figure out how to fix it. I think I get it fixed, and then I turn off the computer and I turn it back on and it's screwed up. So let me show you that. Yeah, I'll try to show you that. So let's go to share, screen share, and you'll get the mirror effect initially. Okay. So no, let's close that down so you don't see that. And so here's, for instance, here's my YouTube channel Hangout page where I've done all these Hangouts. And I don't know how well it shows up on your screen, but on my screen, like this text right here is like micro thin. I can barely read it. And it's like if I go to my file manager and I see a listing of files, it's the same thing. And I've tried changing the fonts in, this is Chrome. I've tried changing it in Chrome. It seemed to get better, but not the way it was originally. And then I tried to change it in the Windows setting. This is Windows 10. Windows setting. And it turns out you can't change the fonts in Windows 10. I think I verified that. I went to the setting for fonts, and it showed me all these hundreds of fonts, but I couldn't select any of them. And so I did a search on the internet, and I found a Windows or Microsoft website where other people have the same problem. And they said, yeah, we're not going to allow you to change the fonts anymore. I'm like, what? And I think what they're trying to say is we're not going to allow you to change the fonts that are available. But what I was looking for, and other people were looking for, is setting what your fonts are. And you can see right now it's set to some funky font that's unreadable on my computer. Now, I have another computer hooked to this particular monitor, and it's running Windows 10, and it's fine. So I don't know what I did, but boy, I screwed it up. So it's making doing things on this computer really tough, especially on my poor eyes. Okay, let me take a break, see what's in the chat. Stand by. Okay, so I guess I assume nobody else that's in the chat has experienced this problem. Again, I'm running Windows 10, and I've never had this problem before, but now I got it, and I don't know if you can tell by what I'm broadcasting on this screen here, which is my YouTube Hangouts page, all the Hangouts I did. The fonts are super screwed up. So it makes it real difficult. So I'm going to, since I haven't been able to solve this problem, I don't know if I've even on the air. So can somebody tell me how my video and audio is? Are you seeing my YouTube page lists my Hangouts that I've done in the past? Are you seeing that? And is my audio okay? I'm going to go check the chat, look for a response. And my other computer is making all kinds of noises. Oh, it's making all kinds of noises because it just did a Windows update. And I hope it didn't screw up the fonts on that computer. Anyway, stand by. Okay, I didn't get any response as far as how's my video and audio. I'm gonna go. I'm assuming it's working. I'll go on. And I did, when I was over at the other computer, I did look at the screen that I'm broadcasting, and yeah, you can see that the fonts are screwed up. So that's my first problem. I've struggled for that for days. I've given up. I'm just going to live with it. Like I say, I'm going to set up doing a lot of stuff on another computer that doesn't have that problem. At least it doesn't have it now. All right, so that's one thing. The next thing is we have had, and unfortunately the whole nation has had some terrible weather, especially those people in North Carolina. I really feel for those people in North Carolina, and I'm really thinking about them and hoping that they'll get the things back together. It was really a devastating storm. We haven't had that, but we've had major storms as far as lightning and rain, lots of lightning every night for the past 10 days. So I've been kind of off the air as far as my radios because I'm afraid to hook up any antennas. And last night we had a heavy storm just south of us, about 10 miles south of us. And we had a lightning strike somewhere very close because I saw the flash and I heard the thunder immediately. And man, was it loud. So I'm like, oh, I'm glad my antennas were all disconnected. So I haven't been able to listen to shortwave or scanners or anything. I've been scared to. So hopefully that's going to get over. The other thing, it's been really hot here. Oh my gosh. It's been in the mid 90s for weeks. And so far for the next week, it's going to stay that way. I don't know when it's going to cool off so therefore I have not done anything outside like antennas or cables or anything like that. So I haven't done anything with my antennas or cables or anything or putting up different antennas. So I haven't had anything to show you there. Okay, so that's the local weather report. Probably bored you to death, but I'm just trying to get caught up here as what's going on and why I've been gone for a week. Let me go check the chat room and see if anybody's in there. Yes, Movie Man 4, you see my problem. This font is like ultra thin, barely readable. And if I go to a file manager, it's the same way. And I've tried, like I said before, I can't find any way to change the Windows fonts. I selected different fonts. I haven't figured out how to do that. And what I saw on the Microsoft website, in Windows 10 now, you can't change it, which doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm missing something. That doesn't make sense why you can't say, okay, I want Arial, narrow, Arial, whatever, Times Roman or whatever. I don't understand why you can't change that, except maybe you'd mess it up like it's messed up now. Also, I've attempted to change the fonts in Chrome, which you can do by going, well, I don't see it right now, but anyway, you can. And it seemed to help, but then when I turn it on again, it's like screwed up again. So I don't know what, maybe it's a virus or something. Maybe, I don't know. Let's go on. I've dwelled on that long enough. So there's two of my excuses: weather, local weather, and fonts are screwed up in this computer. Solar weather has been in the toilet, and it remains in the toilet. I am now getting updates every 3 hours from NOAA with the solar index numbers, and they're not changing. The solar flux is 68, which I think I got right here. Yeah, 68, and the A number is 11. You want that to be low. It's high. The K number is a 2, which is okay. So listening to shortwave has been in the toilet. So that's another reason I haven't done any shows, because I don't have anything to show you. And look at this sun here. There are no spots on the sun. But typically, as we go into the fall, which started last Sunday, and into the winter, shortwave band conditions improve. So I'm hoping they'll start improving. We'll see. All right. Let me check the chat room. Let me get a little sip of cream soda. Okay, things are still hanging in there. It doesn't. Stand by for a second. All right, we're okay. So, so that's the second thing. And well, the very first thing was I was trying to use that newer option for doing a YouTube stream, which worked great before because the chat room was right in my view in front of me, where when I'm using Hangouts, the chat room doesn't work. So that didn't work. I couldn't get it to show my screen. I could see the webcam, but I couldn't show the screen. So I'm back to doing Hangouts. So let me get this out of the way right here. Hide this. There we go. Okay, now, the other thing that is an excuse, and that's all it is an excuse why I haven't done any shows, is I can't find any radios that I haven't already reviewed. Now, of course, there are millions out there, but I just can't find them. Or if they're used, I can't find them for a decent price. The prices of used radios, good used radios, it just are just astronomical. I mean, it's way more than I would ever pay. There are Zippo new portable. There's not any new consoles unless you want to go into the thousands of dollars. There's, as far as portable shortwave radios, I haven't found any new ones of those. Is that the right term? I don't know. And every morning I check eBay for used ones. I check various China stores, and there's just nothing new there. It's all the old stuff. I did get an email about a week ago from one of my contributors who sends me radios for review. And she says they're coming out with a new radio and sent me some information about it and asked me to comment on it, and I did that. So that's coming, but I don't suspect it'll be anytime in the near future. Maybe they'll probably get it out before Christmas. So that's coming. I have even attempted to find radios on local Craigslist. I'm a little leery of doing that because I'm kind of a shy person, so I don't really like meeting somebody that I don't know. So I tend to shy away from it. I've gotten several radios that way. Some good deals. This one guy had a bunch of nice radios for a very reasonable price. They're very clean. I'm hoping he'll find some more. He gets them at garage sales and stuff like that. I have banned myself from garage sales. I am a hoarder. I buy things that I think are, hey, I could use that. It's $1, and it's probably worth, $20 or $50 if I clean it up, and it sits and I don't do anything with it. So I'm keeping myself away from garage sales so I'm not tempted. I may have to resort to that. And again, in Florida, the fall and winter is the best time for garage sales because of the weather is tolerable. So I may have to start doing that. The other thing I have attempted to do, again, trying to find something to do on my shows, is I've attempted to use some of the radios that are on the internet. For instance, let me just show you here. Right here, this SDR.HU has all these radios throughout the world on the internet, which you can use, you can listen to, and you can control. So I've done some of that. And yesterday I did some of that, and I looked for radios in the United States and close to me to see if they were receiving any better than I was. Well, they weren't. So that didn't help. I'm an early person. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't do a lot of shortwave listening after, say, 9 o'clock. And usually conditions are better after 9 o'clock. Well, after 4 p.m. local to, early in the morning. And I'm a morning person. So that's another one of my excuses. So I wasn't successful there. I tried, let me go to the map. Okay, we'll zoom in here to the United States. Okay, here's where I live, right here in Florida. I tried all these stations, and they couldn't receive anything else either. I tried some of these stations on the coast up here to see if I could hear any of the data transmissions that ships use. I can't remember what it's called. Let me just try one here for a second. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, click on that one. This is another feature which I showed you about this website. And let me just turn the audio down. Okay, not only can you listen to radios and control the radios throughout the world, you now have these extensions for decoders. And I was trying to decode nav-text transmissions, which are short transmissions from ships at sea. So I selected like 4 or 5 radios on the coast, and to see if I could get any signals from those radios, and could it decode NavTech. Like here right now, here's where I left off. One of the frequency used is 518 kilohertz. And as you can see, there's nothing. There's just nothing but noise there. So that's failed. Okay, let's close that. And I could have done a show on this, kind of show you this option, but I wanted an example because I'll just show you real quick. Okay, we're going to select NavTech, and then it brings up this little decoder screen here, and then you can select a station. Select one in Americas, and then you can select a frequency. And my research told me that 518 kilohertz was a good frequency. So there it is. It's tuned the radio. It's in the right mode, CW. And here is the signals that it's decoding. And of course, there's nothing there for it to decode, so it's not going to work. So I tried that, and that failed. So I couldn't do a show about that. So let me get off this radio. There we go. Okay, so I tried that. Let me take a break and check the chat room. Hey. I'll say hi to all those people that said hi in the chat room. Again, I have to go between two computers to see the chat room. All right, let's go on. Now, let me go back to, where are we at? Hangout. Okay, I'm going to find my Hangout page. There's my Hangout page. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for a second and show you my video. There's my video. It's pointing to a couple of my scanner radios, of which I have a whole slew of desktop scanners over here. What the heck is that? Oh, with an ICOM HF receiver on the end. So there's some of my desktop scanners. And I pointed the webcam away from me. I don't want you to see my ugly puss. Anyway, so I'm going to have to get up and I'm going to show you what I'm going to talk about. Let me turn the light on for a second. Okay, that helps a little bit. Okay, so then what I'm going to talk about for a second is this little gizmo here. And what it is, and I did a review of this. It was sent to me. It is an AM/FM digital tuner with MP3 player capability. And the size and the sound quality of this is astronomical. And you can go back to my previous shows. It's the brand is RETEKESS, Retekes, or something like that. And it's the model number is PR12. So you can search my videos for PR12 and find out about this device. But it is an excellent device as far as the audio, even though it's tiny. And I use it to play MP3 videos, MP3 music that YouTube provides free. And I played that at the beginning of the show while I was sitting up. And I do it real quick for you. And I also use this when I go to physical therapy. Like I say, I've loaded it with about 100 short audio files from the YouTube free library. And because they have a lot of music that is the kind of music I like to listen to, which is just kind of background music. So I just wanted to mention that I do use that quite often, and I'm very appreciative to the people that sent me this. And those are the same people that are working on this new radio. Okay, let me check the chat, see how we're doing on time. Hey, I got some information from Philip Jones about he has decoded Navtech on 516 kilohertz, which is different than the information I got, which says it's on 518. And I just started trying it this week, and of course, band conditions are terrible, especially way down there at 518 or 16 kilohertz. So I didn't hear anything, but it's kind of interesting. It's just one of those things it's amazing that on your computer with your SDR radio or somebody else's SDR radio, you can decode that data, that text data. If you listen to it, it's just a bunch of noise. Pretty cool. So I'm going to keep trying to do that, and maybe I can get it to work and do a show on that. Let me turn this light off. It gets really hot in my office. It's like right now it's like 86 degrees in my office. So you hear probably a lot of noise, a lot of fans in the background. I got the air conditioning going, and I got the fans going to try to keep it reasonably cool. My house does not get properly air conditioned. I have a 2-story house, and I only have one air conditioning unit. 2-story houses require 2 units, really, especially in this heat in Florida. All right, I think we are about caught up. I think I've given you all the excuses I can think of for not doing a show. The biggest problem I have of all those excuses I used is I just can't find radios to review. Either they're old or new. And I have about a dozen searches. When you do a search on eBay, you can save that search, and you can tell it to do that search for you automatically every day and send you an email message that you have results. And so I get about 12 emails every morning about 3 o'clock in the morning from eBay listing all the searches that I've told it to do. And I have, like I say, about a dozen. And then you click on the links, and it takes you to a listing on eBay of all the new items that were posted based on your search. Like, for instance, I do a search on Grundig, and it will list all the radios that were posted overnight or during the past 24 hours in that subject, Grundig. I have one on, I'm trying to think. My mind went blank. But I've got about a dozen. Oh, I've got one on very generic scanner radios, just scanner radios. And I get a ton of hits on that. And unfortunately, for the past, 3 weeks, I have not found a radio that I would even consider bidding on, because I don't want radios that I have to repair. I'm kind of out of that. If I have a radio that I really like and it has a problem, I'll try to repair it. But to get a different radio that needs repair, I'm just not into that anymore. So I'm looking for radios that don't require repair. So in a vast majority nowadays, the radios on eBay say for parts. I haven't tested it. Now that's a good one. I haven't tested it. To me, that says it doesn't work, because it's not that difficult to test a radio. So to me, I ignore that one. And I just thought I've got a watch list of radios that I'm like considering. Typically I have about a dozen radios in there, and they typically, the auction finishes on the weekends, So I'll watch those on the weekends and see how the prices have gone, how the bids have gone, and determine if I want to bid on something. Unfortunately, lately, and when I say lately, the past 6 months, the bids are just going out of sight. I'm like, I can't believe these people are bidding this high on this item. So anyway, and and I think if he's still here, Two Hands and Radio, he did a review in the past month, I think, of a radio he got, which is the line called the Spirit of St. Louis, and it's kind of a funky looking radio that looks like some kind of electronic equipment, and it's just designed that way. And it's not that it is, electronic. It's not that it is, what am I trying to say here? Military equipment. It just kind of looks like it's got lots of knobs and big dials and stuff like that. It's cutesy looking for us people that get hung up on having lots of knobs and dials. So that one caught my eye. I put that on my search list, and I've been checking for those every day. But he has one that is unique. I have never seen one that it has a shortwave band plus the AM and FM. I've never seen one like that. I've seen a ton of them that have AM and FM, a few that have AM and FM and weather band, but none have shortwave. So he's got a little gold mine there, and that little gem, and I wish he would sell it to me. I'm sure he won't, though. I wish I could find one of those. So I have considered bidding on ones that are just AM and FM, just from the standpoint of their looks, and do a review of one. I've considered that. I've got a couple in my watch list right now that are going to go on sale in a couple of days. We'll see what happens there. Let me check the chat room and get a little bit of drink here. Bye-bye. Yes, Philip Jones says, I need to download a schedule for the NavTech stuff because they only broadcast certain times a day. Well, I did that, and the schedule that I found showed that they broadcast every 10 minutes. So it's like, I just tuned the radio and I left it there. So I figured, I'd go through a couple of those 10-minute segments and maybe get one. So maybe that particular list was not correct. I mean, the thing is, on the internet, there's a lot of misinformation. And one of the reasons I do a show is to get feedback like Phil did from you guys who are, out there doing the real stuff. And so maybe this schedule, like I said, that I found, and I probably couldn't find again in a month, was incorrect, because it was showing NavTech transmissions every 10 minutes. So I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, so we'll get my list here and see anything else I need to babble about. Are there any questions or comments about things I can do to continue to get back on tracks for my shows? I really would like to find some different radios. They don't have to be new. They could be old radios. Some of the older radios are classic radios. I have a whole list of radios, old radios that I'd like to find in good condition, not parts only condition. But I just kind of struck out. And it's not to say there is plenty of things listed. It's just, maybe I'm getting too picky. Maybe I need to lower my standards as far as what things I would bid on. Yeah, maybe that's my problem. But I don't want to get a radio that I want to do a review but it's questionable, so maybe my review won't be typical for a radio like that that works properly. I don't want to go down that path. Okay. Let me check the chat room here. Okay. Jeff King says he has an idea. Jeff, you can send me an email to TRRS73@gmail.com. That's my email address for the show. Okay, I just thought about something else I almost forgot about, which is something kind of cool. Many of you know Simon. Simon wrote Ham Radio Deluxe, which is an awesome program, and then he sold the rights to it so that he could work on his newer project, which he's been working on for a couple of years now, called SDR Console, which I've shown many times. It's an awesome program for SDR radios. Just totally awesome. Blows you away. Well, apparently he took a little break from that a couple of weeks ago and wrote this world map program, just kind of as a change of pace. And I'm going to show it to you, or try to show it to you right now. I got to go back to screen sharing. Okay. And then we'll close this. Okay. How can I close? Oh, here. Yeah, there we get that out of the way. And I'll bring it up. Here's the program running now. And again, this is by Simon. It's called Simon's World Map, and he's on version 1.06. He just released that, I think, yesterday. And I think if I go back to here, yes. Okay, here is his webpage. It's specifically the World Map program. Again, he does SDR Console. Let me hide this. Get that out of the way. And, of course, my font is all screwed up, so you may not be able to read this. And so if you do a search on Simon's World Map, you'll find this webpage. The address is kind of funky. The address is www.dit-dit.com/products/world map. I'll try to remember to put that in the description below this video after the video has been completed. So anyway, this is the world map. It's just a little simple program. Well, probably not simple for a lot of people to write, but it's really simple for him to write. He's a whiz at writing this program. And here is, let me go back. Here is the program running. And it's a world map, and you can change the look of the maps. Up here, let's see, select the map. So that's the default map. I'll choose map 2. There's map 2, and I don't see a big difference. Map 3, blue background, basically blue oceans, and a black marble map. Oh, I like that one. Although it doesn't show you the cities and stuff like that as well. And let's see, he's got night lights. Whoa, that's kind of cool. Let's go back to the default one. This is the default one. And in this map, besides just giving you a map of the world, it has a lot of information that you can turn on and turn off. For instance, down here in this corner is the solar flux information, which it gets off of, I believe, the NOAA weather website. So the solar flux number is 68, pretty bad. Number of sunspots, 0. The A and K numbers are 11 and 2, not very good. And then you can have this little distance meter. And so I put in you can put in your up here your home location, Latin long, and then it shows a little house there, and then it does all the calculations from there. So if like here's the route to Singapore, I mean to Paris, and I don't know what some of these numbers are. Like the 13:18, that appears to be a time. Maybe that's, I don't know what that number, and then there's 1:21. I don't know what those numbers are, but below the line, the 47 is the direction, and right now I've selected Great Circle as opposed to straight line, and the distance is an 895 miles. I've selected miles instead of kilometers. And you can turn on this up here, which tells you your local sunrise and sunset time. And then down here is the local time and UTC time. So it's kind of a neat little map. You can add cities. These are the default cities like Paris and Berlin. You can add cities. Over here, a list of stations. So you can add, these are the ones that are default with some information, locations, stuff like that, and you can add your own. Kind of neat little program. I think you can also run this as a screensaver. I think you can run this as a screensaver. I'm not sure. I just started using this a couple hours ago, so I'm not totally familiar. Let me look in the chat room, see if anybody else knows anything about this particular program. Jeff, I think everybody can see see your phone number now. I'm gonna write it down myself right here. Get my pen to work. Okay. And like I said, Jeff, my email address is TRRS73@gmail.com. It should be pretty easy to remember. Okay, so that's Simon's map program. You can download that and run it from his website right here. And he tells you a little bit about the program. And some people have had problems with it updating the solar data because you have to give it permission to get through your firewall. And it asks you that when it installs. So you have to do that. Okay. What else do we have that I haven't talked about? I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't think of anything else I can talk about. So I came up with about half a dozen excuses why I haven't done any shows. I will try to get some shows out this week. And if I can just find some radios, one of the things I did a couple weeks ago, because I couldn't find any new radios, is I actually took one of the radios that I had reviewed before, and I did a detailed look at the radio. I went through the manual, all the options, and some of which I glossed over before. That was the S-8800. That is a pretty cool radio with that remote control. If you have if you have a radio that you'd like me to go over in more detail, for instance, my Grundig Satellite 750, I can do that. I do have in this room, I do have a Collins Monster radio. It's 75A-4. It's an all-band receiver. It weighs about 50 pounds, but it is in this room. I can barely reach it now. It's on a dresser. Matter of fact, let me just show you that. Let's get off of. Let me see. Get off of this. We will stop screen sharing. We'll go back to video. I'll turn the lights on, and we're gonna kind of wrap this up. See if I can break something. I try to move my webcam over so you can see. There's the monster right there. Whoops. There it is right there. That was given to me by a past president of the Collins Radio Club. He has dozens and dozens of Collins radios. They're all in pristine condition. And one of the reasons he gave me this one was it was not pristine. To me, it looks pristine, but I think there was like a scratch on the side or something. And he had gotten a newer one, another one that was in better condition. So he gave me this one, and he had tuned it all up. It's an excellent radio. Unfortunately, I have it up there on that dresser. Let me see if I can zoom out a bit manually. So, whoops, where is it? So it's up there on that dresser behind all this stuff. So it's kind of hard to get to right now. I can get to it, but it's not like something that it's easy to use. But I can get to it, to tune it. And so maybe I'll do a show on that. I think I did a show a long time ago on that radio. It's an awesome radio. It's the band select is broken down in 1 megahertz bands. So you got 30, at least 30, maybe 31 bands that you can select, and then you use this dial to do the precision tuning. And so like this is 6.8 to 7.8 megahertz. That covers it. And if you look inside, got a bazillion tubes, and it's just awesome. It's totally it was made for the military, basically. So I could do that one. Of course, I've got a lot of scanner radios in this room, that most of which I've gone over. Yeah, I think I've gone over all those at least once, but you know, I started these shows 5 years ago, so some of my videos are quite old, and my initial videos were quite bad. I should really delete them. They were quite bad. But I'm still getting comments on, you know, like show number 300, so I don't want to delete anything. I think that's about it. I will continue to try to find different radios to review. But I think I'm going to call it a wrap. What time is it? It's 3:46, so we almost made an hour. I wasn't really trying to get an hour. But a main thing I want to do is say, I'm back. I'm not gone. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep trying. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment, or you can send me an email to trrs73@gmail.com. Now, since we were talking about comments, let me say one thing about comments. I got a comment yesterday, I believe, from someone that says, you never answered my question about so-and-so. And the problem is YouTube will filter comments based on I don't know what. And so I don't always see your comment. And some of them are, they used to filter them if you included a link in your comment. They wouldn't allow that. And you could go back and go through those and accept them if you verified the link was a good link. They now are accepting links, I notice. So if you put a link in your comments, I don't know if they're verifying them and then accepting them or what. So, but if I don't reply to your comment, it could be that I never saw it because it got put in. The YouTube system said, no, it's not a good comment, and took it out, and so I never saw it. So that's what happens sometimes. and sometimes for no rhyme or reason. Like I've got one person that I know from YouTube quite well, and he leaves comments quite often. And many times, or most of the time, his comments get deleted, or not deleted. They get put in another bucket as spam. And you look at his comments, and it's like just a normal comment. So I don't understand that algorithm at all. Okay, I'm going to check the chat room one more time, and then we'll call this a wrap. And I'll go back to searching for stuff to review. Hang on. Yep, that is a beast. I have several, I would say maybe 15 radios similar to that, different Collins radios, some Hammerlin radios, some Helicrafter radios that are just beast. And unfortunately, I no longer can move them. I have a back problem, and I don't dare try to move them. So I have, in the past, what I've done is I've got a handyman neighbor, and I've asked him to come over in the past and said, can you move this radio over here to the bench so that I can use it on my YouTube channel, and then I'll need you to move it back. And of course, that's kind of a burdensome on him, so I haven't bugged him about doing that lately. But anyway, that particular radio I can get to. I have to stand up and kind of reach over all this junk I got in front of it, but I can get to it. So if you want me to do a review of that, a review right now, the other thing is a review of shortwave radios right now would be meaningless because there's almost no radio that I can receive anything on until the solar flux index improves and band conditions improve. It's very misleading, very misleading. So I'm going to hold off on doing it. I mean, I can show you the radio and show you all the knobs and, you know, how it tunes and stuff like that, but I can't show you its performance as far as shortwave reception. Anyway, I think we're about done. Okay, I think we are about done. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I keep saying that I'm going to schedule these hangouts in advance, you know, at least 4 or 5 hours in advance, and I never do because it's just one of those things where I could just do a regular recording, local recording, and then post it, or I could do a hangout. And the advantage of a hangout, a couple of things. It gives me some interaction with my viewers, and number two, I can babble for up to 8 hours, and it doesn't crash. Where if I try to record local on my computer, if I record more than like 30 minutes, it's sometimes crashes. It runs out of RAM or something. I don't know. It crashes. Okay, that's it. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Have a great day. Welcome. Please send me any comments or suggestions for shows in the future. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.